Morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. How about
Okay.
yourself?
You seem solemn.
I'm just not awake.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Running slow. That's all. So right now, yeah,
Why aren't you awake yet? Late night partying?
yeah,
Yeah.
love lifestyle. I live it.
You live your life a quarter mile at a time.
Gosh, if only, man, that would be amazing. Because I do
uh,
love cars.
yeah, I do as well. Um,
Mhm.
I was actually looking at some ISs last night, thinking about you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
anyway, um, I'm jacked today. Uh, I I guess I got some good sleep. I didn't really feel like great sleep, but feel solid. Woke up, took and I showered this morning. Normally I've been going on these walks after Bill, so I've been wearing the hat, but like this is just kind of what the hair looks like. Levi's
Mm.
closing some deals, which is awesome. Super excited about that. He closed the deal in a second week, having no marketing experience, no real estate experience, closing deals. Bah,
Awesome.
love it, love it.
It's awesome.
8 month ramp up time, my ass. You guys just don't know how to train salespeople. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Michelle kind of wants to take the disc assessment, which I'm really excited about. So we're talking about that. If you're
Oh
watching, Michelle,
yeah.
good morning. And yeah, I learned something really interesting. Levi, who used to sell shoes, which is just like another level of like our becoming like really good friends, told me that you're supposed to wear your shoes at least once a year, so that way they don't like kind of dry up, in the footbed. So I have a pair of shoes on sitting at my desk, which is very uncommon, and I'm wearing a pair of Jordans because I've got some of them and I've not been wearing them. So I feel like $1 million today, if I'm being really honest. I got some Jordans on. My guys are or my guys closing some deals. I got some other deals going on. Like
Mhm. It's one of those. I got
it's
you.
one of those days. One of those
Yeah.
days.
Very cool. I'll just feed off it then, because I'm actually, you know what part of it is I had an engaged customer engagement yesterday, and it was my long one. And
Mm,
after those, man, I'm just
you're just
sapped.
wiped. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it was a brain bender too. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, boom, just knocked it
Yeah.
out. So that's what it is. I'm still a little sapped from yesterday, I think.
Yeah. That I mean, there was one day last week where like I had probably 4 or 5 Zooms in one day, and by the end of it, I was just oh, like wiped. Like I have fun, but like every time I'm on a Zoom call, like I get like ramped up, like I get hot and I'm going and thinking and everything else like this. And so
Yep.
after about 4 or 5 of them, I was just wiped out, right? And it's weird, but like drenched. Like just kind of like I get excited talking about people's businesses. I get excited about trying to like have a perfect call and all of this stuff. And so
Yep.
then like at the end of the day, it's like, man, like I'm working here, which sounds very, very weird, right? I'm aware of how weird this sounds. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's not uncommon, right? And all of our batteries are less tolerant of all the social stuff because of we've not been doing it. So
That's true.
I think
That's true.
that's all normal. You'll be
I've
good, man.
been reading some interesting stuff too about the science behind all the Zoom calls and what it does to your brain and how it makes you sleep patterns different and all sorts of stuff. So
Absolutely.
it's a brave new world, you know.
Maybe not so brave, depending upon who you're asking.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you got today, Bill?
So today I have got follow up. I typically like to do that. Follow up on the day after the client engagement. So I do some heavy kind of like note taking and blocking and tackling for all the information and trying to pull it into, because there's a deliverable that comes out of it a week later. So start pushing that around today. I do have some follow up with some people I've asked to be in the group who've actually asked some questions. So I most of the time people are like, "What's this about?" And I'll send them to the link, and they'll just
Mhm.
go, and they'll go where they want. Which is something else we're going to be talking about when we chat. Is how should I be following up with people, that I've sent to a link that I don't hear back from, just to join a group, right?
Oh, dude, I saw. Sorry to interrupt, but I saw maybe some of the best follow up for a salesperson I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm just going to tell you, the person doing the follow up is Packer from The Office. It is one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm blatantly stealing this, but sorry, finish your day, but then I have to tell you about this because you're an Office fan and good follow up is
Yeah.
awesome. So go ahead.
Well, I have so many questions when you say Packer.
Yeah.
So as I should, hopefully.
Yes, you should.
Yeah. Also, I have some education to do, some Business Made Simple University stuff that I'm going to be getting done. So that's my three main things today. And then, as always, blocking and tackling.
Blocking and tackling, putting out fires. I have a call with my coach today. Meeting with a client at 1. Let's see. I have a prospecting. I forget what this is. I have something on my calendar today, and it's a meeting, and I don't know what it is. But I think I signed up for it, so it's probably okay. And then Caleb, who's part of that funnel group, is back in town, so we're going to catch up here in a little bit. I am writing the landing page for Sales Lab, which is the role play groups as well as office hours, so that way we can get that up and going in Zoom and not in Facebook, because you can't really do breakout rooms in Facebook.
Yep.
And let's see.
How's the build back coming on the writing?
Build Bat's done. Almost like essentially, because my build bet was to write 3 sections and to get you a link so that way we could chat this week. And I've written a lot this week. I keep adding sections to this thing, and I'm like, what? I haven't even covered this yet. I got to cover this thing. So this thing just keeps like expanding. So yesterday I wrote the section about like conversational leverage and why you need to front load your sales process and everything else like this. And so I'm almost done. One of the outside experts who I asked to contribute is contributing from like the attorney and business formation side. So he booked his time for the 27th of this month. So this might be going out separate and extra and additionally like later on to people who buy it. Haven't heard from the CPA yet, but I think that stuff is important. So if somebody buys it, then I'll get that to them later. But yeah, I'll probably finish like the writing of it today or tomorrow, like of the whole thing, which would be good. And then just start showing it to people. A friend of mine had a really interesting idea, because like I want to talk about like the sales process side and why that stuff is important, and then like the sales technique side of like selling in this current method, right? Because the thing that throws people like salespeople off is like historically you had to go like generate your own business. You had to go cold call and network and door knock and all these things, and now it's like you don't have to do that stuff anymore. You really, really don't. And you can really run the authority model really, really easily. You get people to buy something small, right? And then, hey, would you like to talk? Would you like to talk? Would you like to talk? And
right.
So as long as you can get people to like raise their hand, that's the hardest part of any sales role ever. So with all these closer spots, the lead gen is there. The people are already raising their hands. So you just have to come in and have like a really good conversation with the right frames and the right agreements and the right buy-in, and you're going to be good.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So that's the jam of that. Dude, I'm almost done. I'm not sure what tomorrow is going to feel like if I don't have the pressure of a bill bet to finish.
I know, it'll be a brand new frontier of a Thursday, won't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. Hey, Jake Melton, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Jake Melton? I don't think anybody says it that way. Melton. Bill
does.
I had a guy. I had a guy come and cold knock my door yesterday, right? So I go out, and I'm on a call with a client talking about CRM stuff and everything else like this. And so I said, hold on, I'll be right back. And so I go out there, super young cat, and he does the same thing. Hey man, we're in your neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. And then does the same thing. I've got some downtime because someone canceled. I'd like to, we can do it for you for real cheap. And so I just sat and listened and waited because it was very traditional. There was no gaps. There was not a collaborative part of it. Yep. And so then finally he's like, well, and I said, well, my girlfriend doesn't like killing spiders. So was probably not going to go anywhere. I don't really think I'm a prospect for you. We're renting, owner comes out and he just starts, he takes the one thing, right, that he knows he can get around. Well, we have repellents and not actually like poison. I'm like, okay, but the owner still pays for this. So I don't really need this. Yeah. And then he starts like trying to figure out like something to talk about. And I was like, man, I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm on a sales call right now. I need to go get back on my sales call. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So like he hands me his thing here. And he's like, oh, what do you sell? And I was like, sales process and sales coaching. And he was like, oh. And he just kind of stops for a second. And
Nice.
he goes, do you have any tips? And I was like, oh, I have so many. How much time do you have? And he was like, well, you're the one who has to go. And I was like, okay, real quick. Everybody uses that same line, the one that you said about how you're doing work in the neighborhood and how you have some downtime. And he was like, what? Everybody does that? And I was like, everybody who comes and knocks on my door for this kind of thing says the exact same thing that you did. Yep. And he was like, okay. And I was like, if you want to come across as just like every other person who is cold knocked on this door, you should keep using that same script and that same framework and the same talking points. But if you want to have a different outcome than what happens normally to those guys, maybe you should try switching it up a little bit. And he was like, switching it up. And I was like, what if you had asked me some questions as opposed to just like talking at me and making it a little bit more collaborative? And he was like deer in the headlights, but he seemed like open to it. So I kind of gave him like 3 or 4 things. And then I was like, look, man, I have a podcast. He's like, you have a podcast? And I was like, yes, I have a podcast. There's lots of episodes. You should go listen to that. And then, good luck. And he was like, man, I'm brand new. Thanks so much. But, it was nice to be asked for feedback as opposed to just giving it to people who don't want to hear it. And
yeah.
all of that. So
that happens.
So that was awesome and fun yesterday. Man,
oh, heck yeah.
I have so much respect for being like 18, 19 years old, like taking your summer to go cold knock and sell like pesticides or alarm. Like I wouldn't want to do it, but I have much respect for the people who do it. It is work. It absolutely is. Right. And it's arguably the hardest way to get, or one of the worst ways I would say to get like a sales skill. Like there's so many other better ways to develop this skill.
Because there's no feedback. There's just yelling. It's like, get off my front porch.
Well, and depending upon how you think about it, and you do have to go, like if you are getting that feedback, maybe try something different, just like a different approach, right? And that's the whole thing about process. And I was writing about this yesterday, right? Process is built to do the same repeated process to get the same result. So therefore, if you don't want that same result, you need to change the process, the inputs to get to different outputs.
Exactly. It's hard to do though when you're the only one talking about it. You need somebody to talk about it with.
Yep.
Because you're inside your own glass looking out.
Of course, I'm in the middle of obviously awesome. And like I think this is the easiest thing on the planet, and everyone else is like, huh?
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress. But
for sure.
You gotta go, my friend.
I do gotta go. I gotta go do some dadding.
Go dad it up. My dad clock has not started today. She's still asleep. So but her birthday is this weekend. And
yes,
she is,
which I never got the actual invitation or any of that stuff. So that needs to be passed on to me.
Yes. So party's this weekend. You are more than welcome to come. And if you don't want to come, that's totally okay. Because it's gonna be like most of the family, and I would understand if you didn't want to come.
Is it Saturday?
Yes.
What time?
I don't know. Man.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. Text me.
That's so far in Melissa's purview that like I don't even know who else coming to this thing. So
all right, well just let me know.
We could be having like one of these like COVID parties, like one of these like 50-person bangers, and like I don't know about it.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's so fit y'all's profile.